Good. Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone, and it's the very, very first. Wayne, the first time you've been on the new channel.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've kind of missed out. I've been watching everyone else, but been too busy apparently.
COVID times, isn't it? You know, when we couldn't mix and we couldn't mingle in bubbles and stuff like that.
Well, we're close enough. We're about 9 feet away, which is close enough.
World's well and truly underway, but a very different World Championships for many different reasons.
Yeah, the COVID is just, it keeps rearing its head, and the pleasing side is that no one's desperately ill, so let's get that out there. But for those that have missed out, Vincent van der Voort, Michael van Gerwen and Chizzy, I feel for them massively. This is the event, we know it's the biggest, we know it's the most meaningful, we know that all the year you can so what? You really can be so what about it. But you come here and it's, if you're like a clear macker of last year, where you get taken out before you've even thrown a dart, I would imagine that to be kind of difficult. But when you actually win a game, you're then in the event, you're invested in the event. And you're watching people go by the wayside, you're watching number 5 seeds getting beat, Ratajski getting beat, Bunting, all these getting beat early doors, and you're thinking, right, okay, I'm through. And then you get pulled out. That must be really hard for, especially Michael, I'm going to say, because he's had such a bad year, and we know that he's come here to win this, as did Vincent and Chizzy, but it's slightly different. Michael normally comes here on the back of a great year, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it would have been nice for him to put it right, so to speak. But yeah, I feel for all of them. It's been awful.
I know there's no easy way to address, or there's no right or wrong way, but because it's the World Championships and because the tournament has started, was there a call to postpone it when people started failing mid-tournament? Because, like for Michael, for instance,
Yeah.
he's defending 200,000 ranking points,
Yeah.
but he hasn't had the opportunity to defend.
I get that, and I think it's a no-win situation.
That's what I said, there's no easy...
No, there is no easy way. To postpone the event, to delay it by a couple of weeks or a couple of months, that may actually do more harm than good. When do you ever fit it in? Or can they, when I say they, the PDC and the players and the broadcasters and the venue, can they fit it in? As for the rankings, I think that's kind of pretty simple, to be fair. If this kind of comes to light where it's been so detrimental to some players, where they say this event don't count, I think they could go the whole hog and say that this doesn't count. Yes, things have to be taken off, and maybe things have to be added on, and maybe a percentage of ranking money goes on. I don't know, but I think that's kind of something for the PDC to work out, because there are going to be some that potentially can shoot up 10, 15 spots, and maybe even more if a right outsider kind of does well, like I don't know, just say a Ryan Searle, not he's a rank outsider, but he can shoot up to easily top 8 if he goes and wins it. And to say that won't count on the rankings is harsh. But like we said, what's right? There is no right answer, unfortunately, and I don't know how the PDC are ever going to make it 100%. And I feel for them. I think we're lucky this event's still going on, you know. I think we're really lucky.
No, I completely agree. I know we were talking, we've been here a couple of days, and we were all like, can't see us being here after Christmas.
No.
There was a real concern at that point.
Yeah, we all felt that way, and I was chatting with Jamie Banks and Matt Porter saying, how do you feel, guys? And they were so down. It's like, this is an absolute disaster for them. But I'm not saying we've turned a corner, because you tell that to Vincent van der Voort, Chizzy and Michael van Gerwen. They feel like we've done anything but turned a corner, and I get that. But it does feel like now the last 16's being played and no one else has been found positive, it does feel like there is a slight corner being turned. And if we can go ahead, and we being the world of darts, and get this done, that is a good positive.
Achievement to get done.
I agree, but I feel for the PDC. I do. I don't know how you win in this instance. You can't win with all the players for the rankings. You can't win for all the players that have been pulled out, and those that are now looking, those that have not going to get their tour card back just because of circumstances. It's a shame. It really is a shame.
In terms of the rankings, the last 2 years, I'm going to call it, this could take years to repair with no Euro tours. Adrian Lewis has been open and honest about it. He missed the tournament. He went from World 16 to World. And this could take years to repair this ranking system.
Yes, let's be honest. It's a poor ranking system anyway. And I think the PDC, Matt Poulter, Barry Earn, when he come up with this, knows that it's not 100% fair. But to have an absolute fair system, it's difficult. But I believe it should deteriorate to a 24th. So if you win $500,000, you don't lose that $500,000 on site, because you would get it on what, the 5th of January, 3rd of January. 2 years from now, on the 3rd of January, you wake up, I went to sleep world number 1, I wake up number 19. That's not fair. That's not fair. But if it deteriorates to 24th over every month, you'll go from world number 1, after a couple of months, world number 2, world number 3, you'll end up number 19, wherever it may be, but it hasn't happened overnight. So I think a deterioration in the rankings like that may be an answer. It's only my opinion, and I bet you that there's others with better ideas than that, but I kind of like that. And it happened with Robert Thornton. He was playing in the World Grand Prix, he was defending his winner's check, if you will. I think he went to bed world number 6, woke up number 17. Overnight, he played terribly, right?
You don't drop that much over.
It happened overnight.
Overnight.
Exactly, it didn't happen overnight.
It's a gradual.
It happened over the 24 months, i.e. the 24th. So look, maybe there's improvements there, but what the PDC are doing to actually keep this on, if I had a hat, I would tip it, because they've done a hell of a job. And I used to be a knocker of the PDC. I was one of those players as well that saw the bad things. But I think they need to be kind of patted on the back right now. There are things wrong, of course there are, but they're doing a hell of a job.
In this World Championship, is the Peter Wright effect taking hold? When I say that, when I see established players chopping and changing equipment all over the place, is there any need with some of them? And I say, in inverted commas, Gary Anderson, because he was so successful with a straight barrel dart. He may not like throwing them, but he won with them. And we've seen a scallop dart, we've seen a front end dart. Gary Anderson averaging 88 on the World Championship stage, it doesn't kind of sit right.
No, I get that. But Gary's nearer the end of his career than the start. And that's not being derogatory to him. I think he's 50 now, 40.
51.
51, yeah. So that'd be right. And that's not being ageist, that's not being against Gary Anderson. It's kind of fact. So maybe he's looking for something else. But Gary's been kind of a tinkerer for a long time. I remember him playing at the UK Open in Bolton with the tapered darts. He didn't use them for long. And it was before the version of Gary Anderson that started winning world titles. They've seen Peter Wright achieve. So maybe that has taken hold. Luke Humphries has now changed to a new dart, but the same.
Very
same. I get it. It was still a brave decision. Glenn Durrant changed when he went to Target. Michael Van Gerwen's changing. This happens a lot. This does happen a lot. Back in the day, it never happened because I think we were. When I say we, I was part of that back in the day. I don't think we were mentally tough as they are today, and we just relied on keeping that one set. Oh, these are my darts. Nowadays, you don't want to go through that. You want to pick a set out of a pack.
And they're in there, you're gone.
I actually think someone started this way before Peter Wright. I think it was Phil Taylor. I think he started it years ago.
Take out the pack and give to someone in the crowd. And
exactly that. I think Peter's just taken it to a new level. But Phil was the one. He used to win around, give his darts away and give the board away. Give his darts away and give the board away again. And this used to go on all the time. Phil was the one, straight out of the pack, and he'd annihilate me in the Premier League 8-0. You make me sick. But when you see that happen and you need your weapons, that can play and prey on your mind. So, yeah, maybe Peter's carried it on to a new level here, yeah.
We're entering a new phase in darts as well. And I say that the young guns are coming through. They're shining. Luke Humphries here, Chris Davey, even though he lost, Callum Ridds. And they're playing that you mentioned in the comms. There's There's no room for a slow player anymore, is there?
No, they're gone. They're gone, and this is not a dig at anyone that used to be slow. One of the most respected players in my mind that I've ever spoke to is Dennis Priestley. I don't think we'll ever see a Dennis Priestley again. I really don't. There's no time in the game for it. These guys play so often, and girls, of course, they play so often that the longer you take, the more draining it is. And you don't want that. We all want to play the game as simply as we possibly can. Simple means rhythm, routine, get the throw done, get it out the way. And I mentioned it in the studio. You hit a ton and it takes you 20 seconds. Someone hits a 180 and it takes them 2 seconds. You're looking at them thinking, is it me to throw again? I'm 80 behind already. You hit a ton, they hit a 140. You're on your way, you're throwing and they're on their way back, they're behind you. They're now behind you and you're in trouble in the set. You end up losing the match and you don't know what day it is. The speedsters are taking over, and I think it's right. I like the way it's being played.
Last one from me, because Luke brought it up, the Premier League. It's time we had a fresher Premier League, and I mean this, no one's put their hand up this year to say, pick me, where it's been all over the place, Johnny's won 5 and whatever. Would we like to see a new youthful look to the Premier League, like Luke Humphries, Chris Dobie, although they might not be among the elite yet, just give them a go?
They kind of had a go when it was the challengers, the contenders, whatever way you want to call it, and Luke actually was the first one to win.
Gary, yeah.
Beat Gary, yeah. With the Premier League, I don't know. I've been involved since day one. I threw the first darts in the Premier League back in 2005 against Phil in Stoke. And I drifted out as a player and then back in again, then out, and now I'm the other side. Maybe it does need a freshen up, but maybe that wouldn't sell. Maybe we need a Gary Anderson to play again. Maybe we need the names that people think I want to go and watch him. I remember watching him back in the day, like sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's all right putting the youth in, but when I say the youth, I mean kind of 30 is youthful nowadays. Is for me anyway. So yeah, maybe I don't know how they want to freshen it up, but what I want are rules. I want rules, as in you can be picked for a Premier League if we want you in, and the PDC being you could. There's no stipulations, but what they've done, I think they've gone down a route where if you win a major, you're in. I'm not sure that will work in the long run, because there's going to be people in there that eventually, that it's like we've got similar players here. We've got players that maybe we don't want in. Well, they can pick who they like, but they seem to have backed themselves in a corner. Or go the whole hog. Top 10, you're in. If the world champion or the player that's been runner-up in the world, runner-up in the match play, finds themselves out of the top 10, maybe there's top 9 and one wild card. Have a playoff for it. Have a world playoff for the final spot of the Premier League. This is it, we've hit it. Right, top 9 in the world, a world playoff. How about that? I like it. I like it.
Last one in the Premier League, Fallon Sherrock. Yes or no?
No, I've changed my mind completely, and I don't mind owning up to yes and no. I change my mind all the time because the world of sport changes, the world of darts changes. Fallon Sherrock is still hot property, hottest property on the planet in darting terms. Probably not quite now because losing 10 days ago, maybe slightly forgotten about. If she was to have beaten Steve Beaton, lose to Kim Huybrechts, an absolute pearler of a game, people are thinking she's so capable, I'd love to watch her again and again. Unfortunately, she lost to Steve in a bit of a whimper. I know it was 3-2, I know it was close, but it wasn't a standout game. If she was to be put in now, I'd be surprised. Would I be kind of annoyed or vexed or whatever? Do I think she deserves the spot? I don't care who gets the spots. I just want to watch a great Premier League. I don't care. But what I do want to see is whoever gets put in the Premier League, they show their worth. because it is now spoken about in such high regard, and people say, oh, it's an exhibition. Well, if it's such an exhibition, why do people like Luke Humphries mention it when they've won a game to get into the quarter-final? It means everything to the players.
For the players, it's the second biggest tournament. Purists won't like that because they go, the match play, the World Grand Prix, but realistic terms, to those players, the Premier League is now the second biggest tournament on the planet.
The riches it can bring, it can turn your career from a journeyman to something special. Johnny Clayton won the Masters. Yes, he'd already won a World Cup with Gedwin Price, but it was the match play that catapulted him to stratospheric heights. It wasn't the Masters, and that's no disrespect. That is no disrespect. It's the Premier League. It's wow. This man has gone with the elite. We knew he was the kind of the elite anyway. They just cemented it. He's a Masters champion. Well done. Oh, he's a Premier League champion. Is he? Wow. That's different gravy, that. I agree. It's huge. It's massive.
Wayne, absolute pleasure, mate.
I've enjoyed it. You can't stop me talking now. Right, I've got a lot of things to get off my chest. No, I'm kidding. Let me out of here.